Hello everybody. I hope you all are doing well. Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We're just gonna look at this article about a revolutionary that we just got from Ryunosuke. Alright, so he told us to look at the back, so let's take a good look at this. Let's see, there's a lady here. A model, a queen. This is interesting. Have you found something relevant, Naruto-san? Well, no, I mean, it looks like it might be interesting. I can't read a single word, I'm afraid. No can I. But look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful young Russian princess. Do you think? She is very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you? Does that imply something? I don't know. I can't make any sense of this. I'm glad you noticed this article. Allow me to give you a short summary of its contents. Oh, thank you. He pops up everywhere. This is Mr. Sholmes. It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. She is, of course, the talent, young Nikolina Pavlova. Why are Russian names so hard to remember? And kind of hard to pronounce. It would appear the woman was in costume when she was found to be missing from her dressing room, wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which was worth some 20,000 rubles. Rubles, I don't know. Oh, how much is the 20,000 rubles? I have no idea, but I'm quite sure it must be an unbelievable sum of money. Susato-san's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves. The tiara is the property of the Novovich Ballet. It would seem the director is beside herself with worry. Yes, but I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlova and the valuable tiara. They've requested international assistance at all ports with sailings to Great Britain. Could this be another case of a Russian fleeing his or her country? It does seem like the Russian thing to do. I'm not even going to dignify that response, Mr. Naruto-san. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a nice thing to say. Let's see, anything else on here? Seems like the only interest is that lady. Is there any interest why I can use a magnifying glass here? Alright, well, let's take a better... Okay, no, we can't take a better look at that. Anything on this paper seal that I can look at? There's a stickiness from it. There must be remnants of the glue used to stick the paper seal to the wardrobe. That's right. It was pulverized rice. Pulverized rice? Yes, I pulverized some of the rice from my evening meal, even though it broke my heart. Broke your heart? What do you mean? Remember? I'm a stowaway on the ship. All I had to eat was Kazuma's leftovers. Even a couple grains of rice could have meant the difference between life and death. Oh my, it must have been awful for you, Naruto-san. But I have some glue with me, as it happens. You're welcome to use some this evening. Oh, thank you very much. I mean, you don't have to sleep in the wardrobe anymore, man. Keep out. You drew the characters from this newspaper seal, didn't you, Naruto-san? There's such a bold, vivid strokes you made. You're looking at a man who came aboard inside a trunk. Those brushstrokes need to make a statement. If they found me in the wardrobe, those Russians would have hurled me into the frozen cold ocean. I'm sure none of the crewmen would have done anything like that. Well, I'm not so sure. They would have forced you to wash the dishes in the galley until we were on death's door or something like that. Wash dishes until on death's door? That's a lot of dishes. Alright. Okay, I think we're done looking at that. Let's continue on conversation with Sherlock Holmes. Before we start talking, you were examining Kazuma's desk, weren't you? Kazuma? Ah, yes, the victim. Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Observe for a moment the desk of the victim. I see. It very much is the desk of a victim. We see that the victim was engaged in penning some text. London Diary. Kazuma was keeping notes of the trip. But I don't think you should read his private writings. It could upset people. Tragic. and something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. You mean you've read it already? It is my business to know what happened when other people do not. Yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. Oh, I see. Well, you're about to know what Susatsu-san takedown is. She's not gonna say anything, is she? Susatsu-san, aren't you going to throw the detective with one of your trademark takedowns? I'm sorry, Naruto-san. What on earth do you mean? Life is so unfair. Anyway, to return to the matter at hand, namely the diary belonged to the victim. It would appear the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of the writing? Pray be precise as to details. Oh, but I thought you were new Japanese. A smattering, dear boy, a smattering. Sayonara, bonsai, mikoda, nado. I trust you're suitably impressed. Ah. But this diary is littered with complicated looking characters, of which I can read precisely none. So what was all that showing off before then? If you would be so kind as to show me, I would be happily read it for you, Mr. Sholmes. I'm much obliged, my dear madam. The final entry here in Kazuma's diary consists of just 2 short sentences. The first reads, 1:23 a.m. I hear a faint whistling sound. A whistling sound. These are very deep waters. Pray go on. The second sentence reads, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? What on earth does that mean? I have no idea. I never heard that expression before. The ventilator grill, you say? The man was presumably referring to that. To the lattice there on the wall, which connects the 2 adjoining cabins. Yes, the adjoining cabins. Kazuma's diary has entered into the court records. Okay. Okay, is that it? So, I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time being at least. Do you have somewhere to go? As it happens, the victim's writings in this diary have piqued my interest. Matter warrants further investigation, I believe, and if I'm still too long, the seasickness takes hold, so you get seasick. Oh, I suppose. You're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to? The great detectives are curious breeds. A mind rebel at stagnation, we crave mental exaltation. So yes, I intend to investigate. Hence, the truth will become clear soon enough. Do you think perhaps that we could go with you? No. That would be somewhat complicated. What? But why? A simple glance at your wrist should reveal the answer. Oh, these, yeah. Still a criminal. After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter, no? There's no point trying to turn it into a question. You're the one who decides I was the culprit in the first place. Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point. Why am I in these cuffs? You must be joking. You just said it only a moment ago. Dear me, you're clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing. Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you say that too. You're quite sure? Well, that's very strange. I wouldn't have said you had the face of a criminal, you know. Not really. So what, you were looking at my knees before? Some great detective you are. Well, anyway, that was then, and this is now. What do you mean? What I mean, sir, is this. If you are the culprit, then you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. Now he's just being plain rude. Okay, was he joking with us? And off he goes, having just laughed in my face. Naruto-san? What are you just standing there for? You must go and investigate the cabin next door as well. Aren't you forgetting something? What about these? Give me a break. After Kazuma-sama spent his dying moments struggling to leave us a clue, you're willing to give that up? You're just gonna roll over and accept your fate? Ugh. As if you gave me a choice in the rolling over part. But I'm not done investigating this room. I think we still have some investigation to finish off here first, don't we? Yes, we do. Let's carry on examining what we can in this cabin while we wait for a chance to slip next door. Good idea. The situation doesn't look good for me, but there are still things I can do to help myself. And I owe it to Kazuma to do everything I can to find a way out of this. And bring the real culprit to justice. Okay, back to more investigating after that long tangent of Herlock Sholmes. Let's see, got the bed here. What is this? This is, yes, it's a bell cord contraption, I think. A bell? What do you mean contraption? I read about it in the books I was studying, then talked about life great in Great Britain. Large households often have a bell cord like this, which you can pull the ring to summon a servant. Really? That sounds almost magical. Shall we give it a little try? Yes! In the interest of cultural research, obviously. Oh look, we actually have a bell ring. Oh, I guess no one... I suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people. Oh no, so sad. No, I'm sure it's just that everyone is busy, that's all. Oh no, it's so sad. Okay, what else can we observe here on this side of the room? Let's see, it looks like we got everything on that side. Let's go, like... Well, there's the leftovers of something. That's my dinner from last night. A roast chicken. It was really tasty. Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But, did you eat it on the floor here? I'm not a dog, Susato-san. I ate it on the table, of course. Which begs the question of when and how the plate ended up on the floor. But Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, that's right. So he didn't touch it. A guy who doesn't like chicken. Which meant all the more for me. Oh no, does that mean poor Kazuma-sama spent his last night on Earth with an empty belly? It's just too horrible. Oh, now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. Let's see, the table here. There's nothing on this table at all. The plate and the cutlery are all over the floor for some reason. Yes, it's strange. Last night when I went to sleep, I'm sure everything was still... No, wait a minute. What is it? That's funny. I can't remember anything about what happened after dinner at all. So then perhaps you are responsible for what had happened to Kazuma-sama. No. What's this? Seigi, the Japanese word for justice. The brush strokes are straight and true, just like Kazuma. Yes, his calligraphy always was a reflection of his heart. Yet, can you really look at those characters without feeling shame, knowing who drew them so thoughtfully? Of course I can! I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I believe it? Even though you stowed away on the ship... I mean, that wasn't my idea. Now you're going to bring that up, are you? I can't win. Alright, let's take a look at the sword. That's Kazuma-sama's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it. Yes, he was always saying that a Japanese man's katana is his soul. I believe he had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him to bring it on the ship. I suppose that just shows how important it was to him. But now he's gone. But I'm not ready to let his spirit go just yet. Alright, anything else? What's this? Just the door? Can I talk to this guy? Excuse me. What? I was wondering if I could ask you a favor. Would you mind if I investigate a little outside? Is he just gonna say yes? Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes. Is not true, I see. Sorry. The criminal asking prisoner guard to help him escape? Very funny. We're in the middle of the sea and there's no chance of me escaping. Yet. You stay in this cabin until next port. Then it's up to Hong Kong police to decide what they do with you. You stay. Alright, there's no point in trying to appeal to this man's better nature, that's for sure. What happened to the door? It looks like broken. When I went for help and the crewman forced the door open, this bolt had been firmly closed. It's quite a small bolt and not particularly a sturdy one, and it just slides across the secure door shut. But still, with the door bolted, there would be no way to get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense all up down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel, the culprit used a needle and thread to draw a bolt across the outside of the room in a situation like this. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself, but the door of this cabin and its frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There would be no possibility of using that needle and thread here, I'm afraid. When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles all up down my spine. Oh, look over there. The crewman, do you mean he wasn't there before, was he? That's what I thought. Why don't we try talking to him? Probably because I'm likely to get yelled at again, but I suppose I could try. Okay, hello, sir. You probably thinks I'm a criminal too. Is something wrong, Naruto-san? Hold on a second, that's a detective, isn't it? Oh no, it's just a crewman standing by the door. I can have a feeling I've seen him somewhere before. I can see who it is. Oh yes, you're right. He does look familiar. Excuse me, sir. Yes? What can I do for you? He's still holding his arm out like a waiter. I recognize that face, but it can't be. Oh yeah, it's definitely him. Still dying on the place. It is! I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hosonaga. You don't want to wipe the... you don't want to wipe your blood on that sleeve. Hello again. What are you doing here? I think that should be my line. I was so stunned when I saw you, my heart stopped. Nearly stopped, I hope. Wait, what? I received some special orders to go undercover as a member of the crew and aboard this ship. Again. You certainly seem to enjoy undercover work, Inspector. If there's anything I can do to help you, please ask. I never expected to see this man on board, but perhaps his presence can help me out with this hopeless situation. Oops. Let us converse with him, is what I wanted to do. What are your special orders, sir? So what are your special orders at this time, Inspector? Yes, and why are you dressed like a member of the crew? I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. I take full responsibility. For what? My orders were to act as Asogi-san's bodyguard. Oh, well, that's a shame, isn't it? It was Minister of Justice, Jikoku, who pushed for this overseas study tour to go ahead. And he entrusted me with ensuring that Asogi-san reaches Great Britain without being assassinated. Assassinated? How could that even have been a possibility? I'm not sure. But these are complicated times. There are tensions between the world's greatest powers. Mr. Jigoku said we should be prepared for all eventualities. This is incredible. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama was assassinated? Obviously, we couldn't give Asogi-san a visible security escort. Which is why I'm undercover now, posing as one of the crew. I see. And I didn't take my eyes off him the entire time we've been on board, from morning until night every day. But I never imagined it would happen here, inside his own cabin. Not here, on the first class deck. I failed miserably at my assignment, and Asogi-san is dead as a result. I'm a disgrace. All I can do is humbly apologize. Inspector Hosonaga. Oh, just Inspector. So if there's anything at all that I can do to help now, just say the word. Permission to investigate? We're doing what we can to investigate Kazuma's death ourselves. I thought you might be. You didn't do it, did you? You're not the killer. Of course not! We'd really like to investigate the cabin next door. Yes. So we need to be allowed out of this cabin. I'm sorry. What? You've been deemed a risk at the ship's safety. If you move to even touch the handle of the cabin's door, that stormy-looking seaman there would surely snap your neck in two. I suppose I'm not just a stowaway now. They think I'm a murderer as well. Would it be possible to give me something to work with? Do you think I'm going to need something persuasive? What do you mean? If I had a solid reason why the next door cabin should be investigated, for example, I do everything I can to persuade the cabin captain to allow it. Really, I'd lay my life on the line if I had to. But I don't see how. There may be a way. What? Really? Think of how you tried to persuade me of your innocence, Naruto-san. By presenting me with the piece of evidence that you already had in your possession. Evidence? It's just the same as when you are in court. You must have done it many times during a trial. Simply select the present panel and choose some sort of evidence Inspector Hosonaga can use. The evidence that would give us a viable reason to investigate the next door cabin, is it? Alright, yes, I think I might know what we can use. Let's see if we can present it to the detective. Okay, let me see what I have to present. We have this book. Maybe if I just present this. What's that? It's Kazuma's diary. Just before he died, Kazuma wrote something rather strange in his diary. Strange? In what way? He wrote, what looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? That is strange. Yes, we're still trying to work out what he meant by that. But what I'd like to know is... Don't tell me. The ventilator, is it? You're very astute, Inspector. That ventilator clearly joins the next door cabin. That's right. So if we could investigate in there, we might be able to work out what the speckled band was. Alright then. I can't leave this cabin at the moment. I'm stuck here until we arrive at the next port. The captain has given me strict orders to guard the scene of the crime, you see. I'll have to entrust the investigation to you. Really? You're willing to do that? Yes. As long as you don't leave the first-class cabin area. I'm afraid I can't remove those handcuffs, though. But what about the captain? Aren't you going against his direct orders? I'm a man of my word. And I promise you that I'll lay my life on the line if that's what it takes to convince the captain. After all, I failed to keep Asogi-san safe. This is the least I can do. Thank you. Let's seize the moment, Naruto-san. Just select a move and we can go to the other cabin. Move it is. Let's go into the first class passageway. 9th January, 7:48 a.m. SS Bure, first class cabinway passageway. Is that a mousetrap? Ooh, I'm finally out of the cabin. I have to admit it, this isn't quite what I was expecting. It's less spacious out here than I thought it would be, and this is the most luxurious accommodations. Yes, indeed. Kazuma-sama was being sent on a study tour by the government. That's why he was being put up in a first-class cabin. Even still, this is about twice as large as many accommodations in steerage. Really, that must be awful. Oh, there's another guy there. Oh, look over there. That's another crewman keeping watch, and he looks enormous, even if he's sitting down. The door next to him leads to second-class accommodation. I suppose he makes sure no one comes in here who shouldn't. I suppose, like people in handcuffs. Naruto-san, you look like a little boy visiting a toy shop for the first time. I would have thought you'd be used to the ship by now. We've been at sea for 2 weeks already. Well, yes, I know, but thing is, I was inside Kazuma's trunk when I first came on board, and ever since then, I've been shut up inside the little wardrobe. Must have been a very trying time for you. Please, don't give me that pitying look. Okay, well, we got quite a bit of space here to investigate, especially going straight into the next door cabin, but I think that's where we're going to stop it here for now. So, thank you all so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, share, or subscribe. And until then, I will see you all later. Goodbye.